When it comes to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, people often think that it's much like the stock market. You've got many options, but it's all effectively the same thing. Some are better because of certain things, and others are better because of other things. Today, I'll be going over an article written by Jesse Meyers, aka Creases, one of my favorite analysts in the space, where he breaks down why this is not the case. This article, written by Jesse Meyers, aka Creases, is titled The Crypto Catch-22, Why Bitcoin Only. I encourage you to follow Jesse Meyers, aka at Creases_BTC on X.com. If you're not familiar with Jesse's work, he is a man saturated in data, and it is from that perspective, a man that's grown up in a household that deals with data, that he presents all of his ideas. It's impossible for him not to. That's how it works when you see the world through a certain lens. Okay, on to the article. Everyone learns the hard way. I certainly did. When we first take interest in cryptocurrencies, we naturally explore what's out there. Everything sounds exciting, some of it even compelling. I've heard a lot of people say things like that. Before they really understood what Bitcoin was, they thought that it was one of many options. And in a certain light, it is. You have options to go and buy hamburgers, you've got options to go and buy a car, you've got options to spend your money on stuff. And Bitcoin, yes, is one of those options. But when we look at the options between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, people often think that they just have some pros and cons. It's like playing one video game and then other video games. If you like wizards and dragons, you play this one. If you like spacemen and aliens, then you play that one. It's just a different flavor of the same basic thing. I was so unaware of what any of this stuff was that I didn't put money into any of it until Dogecoin came along. It was right around the whole GameStop stock craze and everything was going to the moon and all this stimulus money was coming in and people were just YOLOing into anything that they could hope for a return on. And I saw Dogecoin climbing up, and I thought, okay, this is funny, it's silly. It went up, I think it tripled, and I pulled out at $150 that I was at. And that was it. That was the only thing I ever touched besides Bitcoin. My point there is, don't be putting your money into something unless you realize what that is. This is why we are constantly encouraging you here at Simply Bitcoin to subscribe to the content so you can stay up to date. We are doing our best to educate, entertain, and inform you on why Bitcoin and Bitcoin only is what you should be considering to put your money in. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you, yes, do this. I'm saying look into it, do the research, learn what this is, and then the conclusion will be made for you. Once you do the requisite research and you understand what Bitcoin is, you'll go, this thing over here represents freedom, and this other stuff over here represents slavery. Well, I like freedom, and I don't like slavery. The choice seems pretty obvious. So we diversify, thinking that's the prudent thing to do. But invariably, the more you proactively learn or the longer you stay in the market, the stronger your understanding grows. That there's only one asset here worth holding: Bitcoin. If you are new to cryptocurrencies, a lot of pain and heartache can be spared if you lean into understanding why. Here are the 3 key reasons why Bitcoin is the only crypto asset worth holding. 1. Digital scarcity is a one-time phenomenon. 2. Money is the mother of all network effects and tends to 1. And 3. The crypto catch-22 precludes any genuine competition to Bitcoin. I'm just going to be reading from the article here. If you want to see the full article, that's going to be right down below in the description. He says, the reason you can't copy and paste Bitcoin is that a Bitcoin is not a JPEG made up of zeros and ones. Ladies and gentlemen, this is extremely important to understand. When you own a Bitcoin, what you really own is the consensus view of every computer on the Bitcoin network that you have the authority over 1/121 millionth of the Bitcoin supply. In that sense, you don't own anything tangible. You own an inalienable property right. Let me repeat that. You don't own anything tangible, something that you can lift and touch and feel, but you own an inalienable property right. And ultimately, that is the essence of value. Unilateral control over something finite. This system of value consensus comes with a minor problem. Although it is impossible to copy value within the confines of this walled garden system, it is still possible to copy and paste the entire system. And this is what he shows right here on this graph. You've got invention of digital scarcity right there, orange, Bitcoin. Copy of digital scarcity. Yes, it is a circle. Yes, it's right there. Yes, it looks very similar except for a different color. Yes, it's a copy, but it is not the original. And of course, information that can be copied can be replicated infinitely. There is minimal marginal cost to spinning up a brand new copy of the original system, and that's what we have seen in digital assets. Bitcoin is the original instance of a system of digital scarcity. Every other cryptocurrency is a copy of this system of digital scarcity, dressed up with various bells and whistles to make it seem different, new, and better. When I first made this graphic in 2021 to highlight the endlessly replicatable nature of cryptocurrencies, there were roughly 7,000 total cryptocurrencies. Now there are roughly 30,000. 4x more in just 2 years. Here we have Bitcoin right there, the orange, and then all the copies of it. Money is the mother of all network effects. We gain wealth by choosing to value the form of money that others value, and we lose wealth if we choose wrong. Beanie Babies, tulips, NFTs. Because of this pressure, money tends to win. With that in mind, let's update our graphic above to show the relative valuation of existing cryptocurrencies represented by the size of each circle. Bitcoin, and then all the other ones. Some of the big ones, some of the slightly bigger ones, and then the little itty bitty ones that nobody even remembers because they're basically dead at this point. The crypto catch-22. Aside from Bitcoin's strengths as the singular digital scarcity and dominant network effect, it's worth reflecting on the weakness of Bitcoin's competition. While the marketing for any particular cryptocurrency will highlight its feature set and flashy specs, these all amount to bells and whistles. What matters is a simple question. Which asset do people choose to hold as a store of value? Bitcoin has a big lead. As such, every altcoin since Bitcoin has been playing catch-up. And yet, what is required in order to catch up precludes any altcoin from being a genuine competitor to Bitcoin. Every upstart project in the crypto landscape faces their own impossible paradox as they attempt to catch up to Bitcoin. The crypto catch-22. You can't catch up to Bitcoin without a leadership team and a marketing budget. With a leadership team and marketing budget, you are a company masquerading as a decentralized protocol. And indeed, we have now entered the era of enforcement. Just this week, the SEC sued, and this, hands down, has got to be the most gentlemanly, kindest remark about Richard Hart that I have ever seen. Sued the exquisitely obnoxious, that's just beautiful phrasing, exquisitely obnoxious founder of Hex for 3 counts of securities fraud and told Coinbase CEO that every crypto asset other than Bitcoin is a security. Let me repeat that. Every crypto asset other than Bitcoin is a security. To summarize, Bitcoin is the invention of digital scarcity, and every cryptocurrency since is a replica copy of that system. Money is the mother of all network effects, and Bitcoin has already won. All challengers to Bitcoin are ultimately companies promoting unlicensed securities, and the SEC is coming after them. Now, with your hard-earned money at stake, pick which circle others will value most. But don't take too long, because 99% of the world is currently making the same decision. And as he points out earlier, you're not buying something tangible. Let's make that really clear. You are not buying a phone. You're not buying a rock, whether it floats or not. You're buying a piece of inalienable property rights. What do you want to own? You want to own something that in a decade, a person richer than you and smarter than you will want to buy from you. If you have not done the requisite research into Bitcoin, then it will seem like any other asset. It will seem like one of many options. That is why we are constantly encouraging you to sit down, take a moment, and think about what this is. Look into what this is. Research what Bitcoin is. And once you see it, there's nothing that you can do to unsee it. And as far as what you might want to see next, you've got my video over here on the right talking about the connection between Bitcoin and gamers and how game theory all works together. That's my video over there on the right. And over here on the left, you've got Rustin's video talking about the strong economy as banks are failing and bankruptcies are skyrocketing.